further notice. Talk me out of it. Will Oilers run Nuge with McDavid and fade Savoy? I don't think they'll do that for long. And the Jays need lumber. My goodness. If you're the Toronto Blue Jays and you don't recognize that you need a lefty home run hitter who is a threat to do something aside from hit a ground ball to shortstop, come on, man. Lowdown with Lowetide brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick on Sports 1440 and YouTube. At Wolf GMC Buick, they're overstocked and making room for a massive summer clearance. Plus, employee pricing continues. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. That's wolfgmcbuick.com. Our headliner of the day is Jason Krueger, and we are live, of course, aside from Sports 1440 AM and YouTube, at Radio Player Canada, iHeartRadio, and sports1440.ca. After the show, we're on Apple and Spotify podcasts. We tweet it out on X. You can text anytime, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, at Donovan Paulson as well. I don't know what Connor's. I don't even know if he is on Twitter. I haven't asked him. It's one of those things. All right, it is time for the introductions. Before he came to Edmonton for work experience at Sports 1440, the weather was fine in the city. I'm not saying he's responsible, but I'm not saying he isn't. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Connor Spivak. Connor Spivak, everybody. Connor, do you have anything to say for yourself?
I didn't know I was supposed to talk.
Okay. Well, that's, it's media, but it's okay. His rage over the Toronto Blue Jays this season and last World Series will fuel sports talk radio in this city forever. It's Donovan Paulson, everybody. Donovan Paulson.
Thanks, Todd. Thank you.
You went to Toronto just to be in pain live.
Hey, you know what? I was in pain for one game. The game in which I had the better seats was conveniently the worst game, where I had to watch the Jays do their usual shtick of let's play swing and miss at baseballs.
Let's hit the ball to the third baseman, but do it slowly.
Let's ground out. Let's have a catastrophically slow ground out to shortstop, and then fail to beat out the throw. It was a lot of fun, but no, hey, I mean, the Jays, are they dead?
No, people thought, I got buddies texting me saying they're not. So.
They're dead. They're still dead. They have to jump 5 teams.
I think they're dead. If intensity and pent-up frustration were a skill, he'd be Gretzky. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, everybody.
All right, Monday morning.
You were racing here from your Elks Nation hit and recording, correct?
Yes.
And I was talking to your cohort earlier today on the Tom Gazzola show, and his take was, because I said, man, they're 1-2, but they're playing really good teams. And he's like, yeah, the first half was great. And then they get a turnover and they were never really back to dough. Is that your take?
Yeah, I think it kind of started at the end of the second half there when Tyler Snead had that huge 56-yard game. So Montreal was able to kick a field goal, rendering the field goal you kicked when you maybe should have gone for it on 3rd and 1 moot. And then Austin Mack had the fumble to begin the second half. The other thing is, bluntly, Montreal is just a team. They're very good. You kind of got to play a perfect game to beat them, and the Elks didn't do that. So they're the class of the CFL, and credit to them.
So we talked early in the year. One of the things we worried about, Fajardo's arm and then drop balls, turnovers, specifically worried about the wide receivers. The wide receiver room is different in some ways than we thought it would be. Mm-hmm. Is that concern put to bed? Fajardo's fine and the receivers are fine, or you're still a little bit worried about the receiving core?
No, Cody's arm hasn't just held up. It has exceeded expectations. He has been phenomenal throwing the football, and not just a game manager that some might have predicted. The receiving room, TJ Luther has been a guy. Now, he had that drop that was also kind of a game swinging moment in this one, but for the most part, that receiving room has held up. And like I said, with TJ Luther's emergence, giving you a real second guy to hang your hat on, so it doesn't just have to be all Austin Mack all the time.
Right. Okay. So here's the question. Look, we knew Saskatchewan was going to have a bingo card against Ottawa. What has Ottawa ever done for the West? And then on top of that, you got to go in and play Montreal. So now they're tied. But we talked last week, and you said this was the big test. After splitting against Saskatchewan, you said, I think maybe they're not third. Maybe they're higher than third. Maybe they're first in terms of
The power rankings.
right.
Yeah.
So where are you sitting today?
Well, listen, now Montreal clearly sits at 1. I don't think anybody or their mom is going to debate you on that one. I think probably you have to give it to Saskatchewan because they now record-wise have a better record. And like you're 1-1 with them. So it's not like you had that one leg up and then like they've got it's like the head-to-head is split and they have a better record, right? So I think you got to give Saskatchewan 2 and then Edmonton 3. I still think there's a pretty clear drop-off after those 3.
Right.
And I also think Montreal is a pretty clear 1, no matter how you want to debate 2 and 3.
Okay, and not to belabor the show with CFL talk for 2 hours. We're not going to do that. But this is, for me, the most interesting thing that's come out of the weekend. How are we feeling about the BC Lions? Are they real, or are they just like a kind of a curio? Like you go to your mom's house and she's got a new elephant, ornament, and you go, "Oh, mom, this is really nice." The BC Lions, anything?
Yeah, like so much is dependent on Nathan Rourke. I think they can be the 3rd best team in the West with his full availability and full health. They have a lot more problems than I think we gave them credit for. I think they're in that 2nd tier in the West, battling with Winnipeg and Calgary, but taking all 3 of those teams at their absolute best and at their peak, I think I probably would lean BC, even with what VA's done this year for Calgary, just because of who Nathan Rourke has been.
That's fair. Sam from Vancouver, have you guys converted to full CFL show now? Every time I tune in, it's CFL talk on the station. Get that it's summer and middle of their season, and I'm not complaining. Just want to know the lay of the land. Yes, Sam, we've decided to eschew the Edmonton Oilers because who cares? We're serving the Edmonton market, and we've decided this is the way. No, the Oilers haven't done. I mean, if we covered, bathroom breaks over at the Oilers head offices, we would have something to talk about, but we don't. They haven't done anything, right? And I wish they would, and I'm sure they'd like to, maybe publish the names of some PTOs or, talk about how, they always have that Perry Pern tournament before the captain's skate before the actual training camp gets underway, but we're like a month away. So I understand your frustration. I'll just between you and me, Sam, I will tell you that every day I sit in my room and it's a nice room. They send me water sometimes and there's a light. And I think, okay, what are we going to talk about today? And the first thing I do is scour everything that I can find just for something about the Edmonton Oilers. But, there's lots to talk about, and we are going to get to it in a second, but it's all stuff that we've sort of talked about before, and now we're talking about it again. Before we covered it, and now we're back. And so we look for fresh things. It's like when I worked Top 40, 12 weeks after Madonna released Like a Virgin, we didn't play it very much because everybody was kind of sick of it. Well, I'm going to talk about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the top line in a minute, and I'm not saying everybody's sick of it, but I think everybody's pretty much familiar with how I feel about it. So, Oilers, if you're out there, maybe make a signing. And speaking of hockey, I'll get you to comment on this, Donovan. I know it's the Halinka, but it was nice to see Canada beat up on the United States in hockey.
Yes, it was. It's not redemption for what happened at the Olympics. However, it is anytime you can see the score be as wide as it is between Canada and the US and Canada drastically out front like they were, that's a nice thing to see. You look up at the scoreboard and you smile and you chuckle to yourself and go, ha ha ha, losers.
For me, I'm older but I will say this: when I was a kid, I used to collect hockey cards. Oh, yeah. And there was one American player who had a hockey card. His name was Tommy Williams, and he'd be in California, or he'd be in Detroit, or he'd be with the Washington Capitals. And I had buddies who collected too. And the easiest card to trade for was a Tommy Williams, and it was the only American guy. And from that day to now, I mean, the Gretzky trade is a part of it. By the way, it just happened. It was 1988, however many years ago, just the other day, maybe yesterday, that he got traded / sold. But that changed the world. And every year at the draft, and certainly at things like the Halinka, you see how dominant the Americans are compared to where they were before, right? The second NHL player of my youth to make the NHL was a guy named Lou Nanny, who was born in 43 and he made it in 71. He's like 28 years old. And so there weren't very many. There just weren't. And now it's a different world. So, good for the Americans and I'm sure it'll work out for them and maybe they'll get a few NHL teams down there in the States.
Maybe it'll work out for them. Maybe they'll put up a little bit more of a fight next year. Maybe they will.
Next Olympics, maybe they do something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they get good at the sport and don't get lucky. I don't know.
Maybe
we'll see how it goes. But I'm surprised, Tide. You don't want to talk about how many games Max Jones will get this year? You don't want to talk about how many games Quinn Hudson will get? People are asking.
I'm actually writing about this week.
Are you actually?
Yeah, there's a thing at the Athletic about centers today. There's going to be one out tomorrow about the depth chart, every position. And then I have reasonable expectations later in the week. I actually write about this stuff, but from a radio point of view, it's a little more immediate. And when I write something at the Athletic, people are going there to read it, so I know that they're a captive audience. Here we have to go as wide as we possibly can. Yeah. That's why we talk about you and your personality and your flaws. That's part of the show. People are more interested in that than they are the Oilers right now.
Flaws? What are those?
Moving on. I keep getting comments or texts or DMs from folks saying, Mike Babcock isn't going to want Evan Bouchard to play a feature role. And I'm like, okay, but let's review. At 5-on-5 last year, and I'm going to say this, and none of you are going to believe me. None of you. But at 5-on-5 last year, which wasn't that long ago. I mean, we saw the regular season, 3 months ago? Not that long ago. Connor McDavid and Evan Bouchard were quite a team. I'm going to give you the numbers. This is 5-on-5. McDavid, Bouchard together last season against elites had a 70% goal share. They're on the ice together against elite competition via puck IQ. They score 21. They allow 9. Folks, in hockey, that is an outlier result. You have an elite team when you're beating the elites at 70% goal share. Now, when Bouchard got off the ice with Connor McDavid, so Bouchard's on the ice still, and Connor McDavid is at rest. Bouchard goes down to 52%, 9 goals for and 8 against. Connor McDavid without Bouchard, 40% goal share. Now, it's a one-season look, and it could well be an outlier. But if you're making the case that Evan Bouchard is too weak to play with Connor McDavid, I'm not going to say you have it backwards because I think that's silly. Obviously, Connor McDavid floats all boats, and he is responsible for a lot of the success of the 70% goal share. Nobody's going to argue that. But what I will say is, and this is provable over more than 1 year, the Oilers have no better option on right defense than Evan Bouchard to play with Connor McDavid. If they did, they'd use him. That's it. Evan Bouchard doesn't float Connor McDavid's boats, even though we saw the numbers from last year. What he does do is he provides Connor McDavid and his line the best opportunity to outscore elites. And that's why he plays. And Mike Babcock isn't going to go, well, this guy's no good, because he clearly is good. Yes, he makes mistakes, and Babcock might want to clean that up, and maybe they'll try, and maybe it'll work. Larry Murphy got better defensively as time went on. But the idea that that's going to change is just a non-starter. The other question that people are asking about is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Do you think he'll play with Connor McDavid? Well, in January a year ago, the Oilers coaching staff at the time, led by Chris Knobloch, they faded Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He went to the third line. Matt Savoy went to top line left winger, natural center / right wing. He moves to left wing, and he had great success. He scored more often, and the line scored more often than with Nugent-Hopkins. Here's the thing that I want to talk about today, though, because we're drilling deep. We're deep into the summertime, folks. So this is stuff that I hope you're interested in. But Nugent-Hopkins with Connor McDavid last year, I want to get my numbers right because I don't want to lie to you. Later I will, but not right now. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid last year, 50% goal share and 55% expected goal share. So they did well for the entire year. Okay. You can sell that. Those are the wrong numbers. What did I do? No, they are. They're the wrong numbers.
So you actively said you weren't going to lie to people,
And then I lied.
and then
to
you
them.
lied to everybody.
Well, and I wish I could say that I, regret it, but I do enjoy a good lie. So there is that. All right, I'll have to find it. I'll find it. We'll do it in rumors. I apologize, but it's not working, and I'm frustrated, and I'm going to take it out on probably Donovan.
What's new?
Just
the whipping boy of this show.
Anything about the NBA or NFL that we can get to today or in this segment? Anything at all happening?
Well, the big news would be the Tunsil injury in Washington, right? That is obviously a huge blow for them. That is your blindside tackle there, protecting Jaden Daniels. And for a guy who was hurt on multiple occasions last season, that is probably, I don't know, what would you say, Deck, other than Jaden Daniels going down? That is literally worst case scenario.
Yeah, it'd be him or Terry. And
I think Terry they'd be able to survive without Terry.
Like they'd be able to maybe stay afloat without Terry, but I don't know if they'd be able to find any success. But yeah, like Laramie Tunsil, and it's such an important position. And I think they had this discussion on the morning show today,
a little bit,
which is the most valuable position. But like blindside tackle is right up there. And Laramie Tunsil he's had some problems, but he's elite at it. So anytime you lose that guy and you have a quarterback who has some injury problems, probably not great.
Well, they made a movie about the blind side, and I think they put Sandra Bullock in it, so it had to be pretty important.
She won an Oscar for it.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently they stole from that kid or something. That came out.
Well, Sandra Bullock never stole anything from anybody. Did you see while you were sleeping? She was so nice.
Did you see Miss Congeniality 2?
Oh my God. I haven't seen that one. I saw when she's walking out of the hangar looking like $1 million and then she stumbles. One of the great movie scenes of all time.
Laramie Tunsil.
It's kind of like you when you walk out of the show every day.
It's exactly the same. All right, 12:18. I'm going to get my numbers in order and my ducks in a row. And we are going to talk about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins on the McDavid line. Is it a good idea? Can he still score goals? And we'll talk about that next. And we also have updates for you as the day goes on the Edmonton Elks. They're tied for first. What do the next few weeks look like? What can we expect from Edmonton as they head down to Calgary on the Labor Day weekend? I know everybody's always excited about that. How many busloads do you think we'll get this year? Like 10?
12.
Got to be something like that. It's an excited group. This is an engaged fan base. All right, that's all straight ahead. We have Jason Krueger coming up at 1:20 today. A Declanation's Mama MMA. I'm assuming it's going to be about fighting.
We'll talk a little fighting.
All right. Do we want to talk about Evander Kane too? They were talking about it in the morning show.
I know where
we can touch on it.
I know where I'm going for my political.
Well,
takes.
maybe we'll do Evander Kane convo next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine.
Get into the end zone and tie things up at the end of the first half. Fajardo over the middle, wide open, taking a seat and taking the score. That's Joshua Cephas. With losses, back-to-back weeks up they haven't experienced it. Now Mack dropped into the end zone. What a throw! Cody Fajardo to Austin Mack, turning back the clock here in Montreal to their days in red, white, blue. Running over at first for Rengifo and Austin Hayes. Welcome to San Diego. You gotta be kidding.
Well, this lineup in the length of it just got a little bit longer. You're putting in a former all-star here.
With up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back. LeadingEdgePhysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
The second half is yours. Lock in your seat with our new 5-game season pass and get a $25 voucher. Half season, full energy. Get your season pass at goelks.com. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. They're overstocked and making room with a massive summer clearance. Plus, employee pricing continues. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. Nice day today. Boy, it feels like fall in the mornings now. Leaves are turning. I know. Shut up, Lowetide. I'm just saying it's humid still. I moved to Edmonton in the late 70s, and we did not have humidity like this. People always get mad about global warming and, climate change and all of those things. But when I was younger, I lived in British Columbia on the Lower Mainland, and it was humid like this a lot. And we seem to have, moved the humidity, not like, it's not like Toronto in August where you got to change shirts every 5 minutes. But it really is interesting to feel the seasons change and still have the humidity here. You can't say, well, you can still say it's a dry cold. It might not be as correct as you were 35 years ago. All right. It is time for Rumors, brought to you by Hire Good. We solve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. Go to hiregood.ca. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives. Well, I'm all for that. Okay. I promised you, and then I couldn't find it. I had a sheet that I thought was correct, and now I have it. So we're going to talk about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins or Matt Savoy on left wing with Connor McDavid. And the reason I want to talk about this today is there's a few things coming to the fore that people want to talk about in regard to how Mike Babcock will handle the team. We talked last segment about Evan Bouchard. And I just cannot believe that the Oilers have a superior right defenseman on the team to play 5-on-5 against elites compared to Evan Bouchard. So I poo-pooed that idea. But now this is another subject at hand. Mike Babcock likes to have sticks along the boards. That means left wingers and left defensemen would play, and they would be left-handed, and right defensemen and right wingers would be right-handed. I hope that all made sense. And you'd like to have a mixture of lefty-righty at center if you're Mike Babcock. Well, the Oilers don't have that. Last year, McDavid, after January 1st, he played with Matt Savoy and Zach Hyman, both right-handed. Savoy played mostly on the left side. Podkolzin and Kapanen were line mates for Leon Draisaitl, but there's talk that Ike Howard would play on the right wing this year. Does Mike Babcock want to do that, or is that something he's not going to, approve and won't deploy? So I wanted to look at, after January 1st, Connor McDavid at 5-on-5, including all, quality, all manner of competitions. So the soft parade, mid-level, and then the elites all combined together. How well did he do? So these are the numbers for McDavid and Savoy. Their goal share, 63%. Their expected goal share, 54%. And their goals for per 60, 357. Now, let's go to Nugent Hopkins with those numbers in mind. The goal share, 42%. But the expected goal share, 52%. So a little bit unlucky, but the goals for per 60, 296. Remember, the number Savoy and McDavid was 357. And this brings to the fore the idea that Nuge, as people age, he's like 34 or close, maybe 33, as they age, those great soft hands and skills tend to erode. And it happens for everybody. You know, Father Time is undefeated. So is this the time? They already started it from January 1st. They moved Savoy. Is this the time to continue that? Or do you think Mike Babcock would be better off? Remember, the expected goals, I know that some on the panel here are not thrilled with the idea of expected goals, but in half a season, significant number of minutes, the McDavid, Nugent Hopkins line was doing good things. They just couldn't cash. Savoy and his group cashed at a very high rate, higher than their expected goals. So I'll begin with you, Declan. Do you take what Mike Babcock apparently will prefer? Do you take heed and want left sticks on the left side, right sticks on the right side, and go with Nugent Hopkins and McDavid? Or would you prefer to have Savoy and McDavid, the group that worked after January 1st, that worked the best?
I would prefer Matt Savoy as that top line left wing.
All right. And the reason is he's productive, he's fast, they think well together, and they've had success.
Yeah, I just think like Matt Savoy, Ryan Nugent Hopkins, I think we would all probably say is, you know, a better player as it stands right now, although maybe not, and certainly has had a more accomplished career, and that's because of the length. But right now, I just think the upside that exists with Matt Savoy versus Ryan Nugent Hopkins comes from him playing on that top line in a way that Nuge might not have right now.
Yeah, and your points are all well taken, and I think they're universally endorsed. And this, I think, would be strictly, I want a lefty stick on the left side. What about you, Donovan? Any thoughts on Nuge or Savoy on left wing on McDavid's line?
I probably want Savoy there. I just don't think at this present moment with Ryan Nugent Hopkins, you're looking at a middle six player.
That's a good way of putting it.
I think that's the reality of what he is at this point. He's a middle six player who, in a perfect world, you want him being a third line anchor. If he's moonlighting and he's playing on your second line, I don't have a problem with it. But you know your second line's going to have Vasily Podkolzin on it, right? Like that's kind of a given at this point. So that leaves you with, would you rather have Ryan Nugent Hopkins on your third line and create kind of like a checking line between himself, Jason Dickinson, and in my estimation, Kasperi Kapanen? Or do you want to mix it up and make it a little more offensive, have Matt Savoy there? I don't know what you want to do, but for me, Matt Savoy is just he gives you a better chance to win each and every night on the top line. I'll put it that way.
And he, like, it's not easy to think along with a guy like McDavid and be fast enough to react, but Savoy showed he could.
I also think what are the chances that Matt Savoy doesn't get any better? If you just continue to play him up there, what are the odds that this player can't hit 50, 55 points next year?
Yeah.
Like, I fully expect a 50-point season next year if he's assuming he's up there. If he's not up there, then we'll see what happens. But I don't know. I'm a fan of this player. I like Matt Savoy's game. I think there's a lot of really clean elements in his game. Will he need to show up and improve come playoff time? Absolutely. But who doesn't need to improve after the first round of the playoffs?
I have one more Oilers question before we move on, and that I'll direct it to Declan first, and then to you, Donovan. Stan Bowman has said that he doesn't anticipate any more additions before training camp. That doesn't mean something won't bubble to the surface. It's always players who end up, not signing or wanting to get traded or something during the late summer. But right now, it looks like the team has the roster they're going to go to camp with. So for Ike Howard, I see this roster as possibly being a veteran one. And as Donovan said, maybe Kapanen ends up on Draisaitl's line on right wing. Maybe Babcock is okay with Savoy on left wing, right-handed, but he would not want to play a player with 29 NHL games like Howard on the off wing, on the right wing, and he's a left shot. So do you think, like, in terms of is it 50-50, 75-25, Howard makes the team, or do you think there's a chance he ends up in Bakersfield?
I think he makes the team. I think he we did this exercise on the Jason Gregor show about how many games up here he gets. I said in the 50s. I think I said like 54 or 58 or something like that. I feel like Donovan's touched on this. I think this is still the stance he has, that he feels like to have a productive NHL career, he needs to be a top 6 player. I know Greg's has pushed back on that a little bit. I kind of find myself in a middle ground between the two takes, because I do think there is something to be said for what his defined role would be. I still like the 50 to 58 game benchmark. I like him to make the team, but I think there's a lot of credence to the fact that, like, he needs to do something specific to be successful based on his skill set. And is he going to get that opportunity? Maybe he will not.
Yeah, if he ends up as a checker, there are going to be better checkers.
Yeah,
if he ends up as a scorer,
yeah.
then if he can be Ethan Morrow, which Morrow is a bigger man, but he scored 15 to 20 a year. I honestly don't see that for Ike Howard. Maybe I'm wrong.
I just don't think it's his archetype.
Yeah. You're right. What about you? You think he could be a checker?
No, God no.
Okay.
He's a top 6 forward, a bust for me. I like, what are the odds if he's put in a bottom 6 role? What are the odds he becomes Daniel Sprong? A guy who can score in very limited minutes, who's horrific defensively, and is basically have his career over before he hits 30.
And he also jumped around team to team.
Yes, and went team to team to team to team.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I view this player as. If he's not given a position in a top 6, I feel like he might just turn into Daniel Sprong.
That's a really good point by you.
And if he is given the opportunity, I think he's going to run with it. I think he's going to make the team. And similarly to Declan, I'm probably giving him around a 50 game total. I think he's probably going to be up and down at some point because, I mean, listen, the NHL's hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough adjustment.
Those mean men who play in it.
Mike Babcock, I don't know. Like, we'll see what he thinks of this player. I'm not sure. I'm not certain that this is a player that he's going to love, just because of the lack of.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of bite,
conscience,
and he's learning how to play without the puck, and Babcock might not want him to learn at the NHL level, and that might mean Bakersfield. Last year, my reasonable expectations, which for this year are coming out later in the week, I had Howard at 50 games, 9 goals, and 18 points. Is that about right for this year? Or do you think he might, when he gets games, he might be a little more, there'd be a little more torque offensively?
I think he bumps it up.
Is he going to get power play time? That would help.
Well, no. For me, I'd
never be mad at him on the second unit.
He was going to get second unit. If he's up here, he's going to get second unit. But I look at Isaac Howard and I say, can he play half his games in the top 6? If he plays half his games in the top 6, he's going to have at least 25 points. If he doesn't play half his games in the top 6, then I think 18 points is probably fairly realistic.
Right. And like, it's the thing that we don't know and we can't tell because 29 games isn't enough, and he played, depth numbers, and quite frankly, his goal share numbers weren't terrific, but he was, he's a young guy, first year pro. That's a lot of pressure on a player. The thing to keep in mind is if he's on a line that is outscoring, then he'll stay. For sure. And especially if he's even somewhat productive, if he can move the needle offensively, because they'll want to give him reps and opportunities. And if he's in the NHL and only playing, 12 and a half minutes a night, but scoring well and helping to outscore, then they'll just slowly but surely, incrementally move up the amount of time he plays. And he should have success. Anything else in the NHL? I know that there's like, it's a really quiet time. There really is. But there are things that we had been discussing as being, well, maybe this will happen before training camp. It feels like that's going away. If you did have to pick something that might bubble up between now and, say, September 1st, Is there anything out there that you could go, hey man, this still hasn't been figured out
For the Oilers?
for any team?
For any team? Well, I think the obvious ones are these. There's about 3 forwards out there, 4 forwards who I look at and say these are not PTO players. It's just where are they going to sign?
Right.
And those players to me are Michael Bunting, Eli Tolvanen, Vladimir Tarasenko, and Marcus Johansson.
What about Logan Stanley? My son, Logan Stanley. You don't even mention him.
I've never been a Logan Stanley guy.
Well, maybe you should go.
I don't think he's very good. Honestly, I think he's 6'7" and has a long stick.
He could be Vincent Desharnais.
I think he is Vincent Desharnais, but left-handed.
What's wrong with Vincent Desharnais?
Well, you're a 7th defenseman. Let's be honest here.
He's a great penalty killer. Did you see his outscoring last year?
I didn't, but
Just
I
look at the
also
reaction to
saw
his contract.
I
That
also
tells you
saw that
everything.
the San Jose Sharks healthy scratched him at times, which tells you he's a 7th defenseman.
With respect, I really think you should look at Desharnais' numbers. He had a great year there. He signed by Washington. They're a smart hockey club, and they have really good defensemen.
That
honestly,
employs turnover Timmy Liljegren.
20% of me believes they signed him just for his size to match the rest of the roster.
I will.
So you're saying an analytics-driven team like the Washington Capitals just one day decided to pick a guy with size.
1,000% they signed him just because of his size.
Oh my God!
The San Jose Sharks acquired him because of his size. I'm not saying the only reason he's in the NHL is his size.
You just said that's the reason they signed him.
That is the reason you signed Vincent Desharnais. It's not because of I don't think he can move the puck very well at all.
Good on the penalty kill.
He's good on the penalty kill, and he's big, and he's got a long stick. Those are the assets that he brings to the table.
But there are worse players out there.
There are absolutely,
for sure.
Like I would much rather take Vincent Desharnais than take a guy like Alec Regula. I would much rather take Vincent Desharnais than a Spencer Stastny. I would much rather take Vinny Desharnais than personally. I don't have a value for Timothy Liljegren.
But there still needs to be conversation about where his value actually lies.
Of course, like in my mind, he's a $2 million defenseman.
Okay, so number one, I'm just going to push back a little bit and then we'll go because we're never going to solve this problem today. But Desharnais is, according to NHL Edge, max skating speed is in the 70th percentile. So when you say you're slow, the actual fact is that he's not as slow as people think he is. He's just really big, and it looks like the wind blows him in a certain direction. Now, he's also so long that even if a speedy winger has a step on him, it's hard to get around that guy. It just is. And I mean, I think that is a thing. And in terms of what he did a year ago with, I think we can agree, not a great team in San Jose. You know, he had expected goals against of 233 and a goals against per 60 at 5-on-5 of 2.2. which was easily the best on the team. And he was one of 2 guys who had a 50% goal share at 5-on-5 for the San Jose Sharks. And he signed with a team that knows defense. And I think that they signed him to a pretty big contract. I like Desharnais. Like, he may erode. He may not be the player. He may get hurt. But I do think that there is a window for that kind of player. And he is one because of his length.
Did you not want Vinny Desharnais to be the 7th defenseman on the Edmonton Oilers?
I always did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 7th defenseman is getting $4.2 million.
No. He's not a 7th defenseman now.
Well, he's not being paid like a 7th defenseman.
He's not a 7th defenseman. He's getting paid like he's not a 7th defenseman.
Yeah, he's being paid like he is a number 4.
He's getting paid like we knew him as a 4, but he's really getting paid like a 5 or 6 in this salary cap.
Well, that's true. Very good point. But what I'm saying is that your perception of Vinny Desharnais is the perception we all had when he was in Edmonton and Vancouver. But he's playing better. And he's done it for long enough that the Washington Capitals think he's something. And we'll find out.
We'll find out. I just see guys that are that big that do what he does, and I don't view them as highly as a lot of other people do. I like a guy who's got size. I love a guy who's got size. But to me, you have to be a lot more than just your size and eat up a bunch of space.
So, like, you have to have speed, right? Like in the 70th percentile.
Well, I got a question as well. You said his expected goals against were 233?
With 5-on-5, yeah.
Yeah, what were his goals against?
2.2.
At per 60.
Yeah, 2.2 per 60.
And it was 2.33 That was the expected goals against?
Yeah, no, I'll just run them again so that we're really clear. His expected goals against were 233 per 60, his goals against were 2.2, and his actual goal share was 50% on a terrible team. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if I'd call them terrible either, but that's kind of a separate.
They're
opinion.
okay.
They were okay.
They're okay.
What was their goal differential?
Minus 41, I think.
Okay, that's okay.
But look at how many of those were William Eklund.
Okay, but we're talking about
the majority of that team was actually.
Okay. There's two guys. There's two guys at 50%. Nobody else was at 50%.
The second line for them got caved, but outside of the second line, the rest of their team was somewhat okay.
All of their other defensemen are under 50% goal share.
Well, yeah, that's going to happen when one of your guys is like minus 36 in William Eklund.
I think maybe you're being a little stubborn on this player. You've never done it before.
No, I'd never be stubborn on a player.
I'm just saying. Look, I'm thrilled that he did because I always cheered for him.
Oh, good for him.
But I didn't think he'd be this good. That's the truth. I'm encouraging you to have another look at him with your open mind and your fairness that we all value because you're you.
Well, I can tell you, I do watch Washington, and I'm going to watch a lot of Vinny Desharnais as a result of that.
Okay,
next
well then
season.
Maybe you could
And
report back to us.
I will
from time
report
to,
back to you
right.
from time to time on Vinny Desharnais and if I've seen a change in his game.
Completely unbiased viewpoint from Donovan coming up this winter right here. Okay, we'll take a break. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Come on down to the Brick. The Price is Right live event is on now. Enter in-store for your chance to instantly win from over $1 million in prizes. No purchase necessary. Then shop incredible savings throughout the store, like up to $2,220 off select sectionals, up to 40% off select mattresses, up to 20% off select major appliances, and up to $600 off big screen TVs. Plus, finance with 0% interest and equal monthly payments on qualified purchases. These offers end August 12th. The Brick, saving you more.
They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Krueger for a first-time discount. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives.
She played the fiddle in an Irish band, but she felt
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Monday, Josh isn't here. Was Josh supposed to be back today?
Yep.
And he's not here?
Nope.
Is this another card that broke down, or what are we doing?
Allegedly, this is a flight that got canceled due to
well, there is a lot of that nowadays.
some forest fires or something.
He's helping to fight forest fires?
Yeah, I think he's helping. Yeah.
You know, I don't know if they still do it, but sometimes
start them maybe.
I don't know if they still do it, but there have been times in Canadian history, not me, but I've been told that if there's a fire in a town or whatever, the local constabulary just walks in and hires everybody to go out and fight the fire.
So you know what I heard is Josh Fenwick's a huge fan of starting fires.
Well, certainly, if starting fires on this show were a skill, you'd be number one.
I would be number one if it was starting fires on this show, but in real life, I've heard Josh really likes to start the fire.
Well, yeah, and he's a witty fellow. I'm sure he'd come up with some ways to get it done. Dave, my friend Dave,
huge arson guy,
has taken. You're doing this because of what he said about you about being a criminal, right?
No, what he said, what he put on my thing when I did my hit on Tuesday with you last week.
Chiron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did he say?
He said hate speech enthusiast, which is, if you're just hearing that and not really thinking about it, you'd probably think, whatever. I mean, he's aggressive. But if you actually think about it, that is.
I would suggest to you, in all honesty, that in today's environment, that is more salacious than what you just called him.
I know it is.
Yeah.
What he said was blasphemous and has a real chance to
stick.
Yes, exactly. And by no means am I a hate speech enthusiast.
You are.
I'm just gonna.
I would
try and call him an arsonist the whole rest of the show.
I would describe you more as a loose cannon.
That's absolutely valid.
Right. Okay. My friend Dave says, end of day, I'm not sure it matters where Howard slots. I think he's the premium trade chip that we will have available, and I think he gets dealt. Once Pittsburgh realizes they're an also-ran, maybe Raquel or Rust, such a make-or-break season, and even if Howard does fine, we know come May, June, rookies are generally pretty ineffective. Dave makes a great point. I think it would be a fail by the organization because they need young players. But if you're trying to shoot the moon, then Howard for a veteran winger who can play in the tough parts of the season, i.e. the playoffs, isn't a terrible idea. Then you just got to find another Howard.
Well, I don't think. Does it not just depend on what you see out of the player this year?
Oh, I agree. They have to give him an opportunity.
You have to give the player an opportunity. But if you see a player who looks like he might just be Daniel Sprong, trade him immediately.
Yeah. He did play well in Bakersfield. Got to translate it to the owners. All right. Today, Willie Skinner, really good follow on Twitter. Interesting individual. Loves music, loves interesting music. And she said, describe your musical taste in 5 artists. Hers were Joe Strummer, Beastie Boys, the Addicts, Buzzcocks, and The Clash. I responded with Neil Young and Crazy Horse, Emmylou Harris, Rolling Stones, Allman Brothers Band, and Talking Heads. I didn't get Genesis in there, and I regret. And I should have had Nina Simone, I regret. And Stevie Wonder, I regret. But those were my 5. So I thought, since we have talked sports all show, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I would like to know whoever's ready over there, among the three of you, give me your 5 musical artists who describe your taste musically.
Declan here, by the way. This was a tougher one than, because I always really think about these things much longer than I should. Like, it's like, just give an answer, right? But I did narrow it down to 5.
Okay.
So I have Lil Baby. That was the obvious
good start.
one for
Country
me.
music.
Yeah, big country guy. I think he just did a song with Morgan Wallen. Second, I had Fleetwood Mac.
Nice.
That's surprising.
That's your dad's influence.
Love Fleetwood Mac and Rumors. I mean, probably the best album ever. Is that safe to say?
Well, it's a great one.
It's up there. Third, I would go with Dave, who is a British rapper you guys may not be familiar with.
No.
Fourth, it might surprise you guys, but I'm going to be honest, because this isn't necessarily just favorite artist. This is what describes your musical taste. Fourth, I have Blue Rodeo.
Oh, love
And then
Blue Rodeo.
Fifth, I had Matchbox 20.
Those are all great. I don't know Dave. Is it Dave?
It's Dave, yeah.
Dave.
He's like,
I know some Daves.
he's really good.
I know a Dave. I just quoted a Dave, but I don't know that Dave. It's an interesting list, though, and I love that you included Fleetwood Mac. That means you were listening to your dad when he was playing those great tunes.
Amen.
All right. Are we going to know any of these people?
You're going to know all of them.
How much of them?
Actually, you might not. You won't know one of them.
How many of these are actively involved in hate speech?
None of them.
Okay.
I'm not saying they're all, necessarily stand-up citizens, because some of them are old rock bands, and
sure,
you know how that goes.
Done things to Stonehenge and got arrested. I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My first one would be Led Zeppelin for sure.
Oh, wow.
Anybody
Okay.
who's heard me talk on the station knows that I love Led Zeppelin.
Which album is your favorite?
Led Zeppelin 4.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Probably 2.
Yeah, they're all great. But
They're all great.
I think 2 is underrated. I'll say that.
I don't know why I answered that for you either, by the way.
I don't know.
My apologies.
4 is the one that
That was
everybody
crazy.
says, but Physical Graffiti is also, like, Kashmir is such a great song.
Kashmir is a great song. I just love Led Zeppelin as a whole, so picking my favorite album's pretty tough from them, to be honest. I would go Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I love Boston. That is
More Than a Feeling. I remember
that
when I
is
first hit
one
the
of the
radio.
best albums of all time.
Yeah.
That one, if you don't know about that album, genuinely one of the best albums of all time.
And you listen to Don't Look Back too. It's a great album.
Don't Look Back. I love Boston. My number 3, I will take things over to The Weeknd.
Okay.
Everybody knows I like The Weeknd. I think at this point, it's not surprising at all. Declan's shaking his head because he mentioned Dave. So,
yeah.
Can we really?
Hey, Dave is like good. You guys got to listen to Dave.
Can we really take his musical taste?
Actually, in this segment, I've had
Seriously?
my fill of Dave, but I'll give it a listen.
My number 4 would be Don Toliver. You have no idea who that is. I know Deck definitely knows who that is. Connor shaking his head. He knows who it is. Then my number 5, that's the tough one for me. I probably lean Rolling Stones.
Aha! There you go. That's why I like you.
It's a lot of my music taste is all classic rock or I don't know, weekend pop, hip hop type stuff.
Yeah, easy breezy. Fun times.
My music taste is all largely upbeat.
Just totally happy. Beach Boys, ABBA.
Hey, I actually Kokomo by the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Is there a better summer song?
Well, it just got played too much for my generation, but that's okay. All right, Connor, I'm going to be disappointed if I don't know any of the artists, but if I know one, I'll be happy. Go ahead.
All right. So you should know at least a couple of them. Favorite artist of all time, Childish Gambino. I love Childish Gambino. Camp is probably my favorite album of all time. Awaken My Love, another absolutely classic album. Number 2, just because I played in this rink a couple times in Hannah, Alberta, Nickelback.
Okay, good for you,
It's
man.
it's a great choice. It's a
People
great
will be
choice.
mocking you forever, but I will not.
People give other people snide about having Nickelback on these lists, but it's a great choice.
And everybody
They're
hates them,
great.
but they sold 30 trillion albums, so somebody bought the damn album.
Yeah, and I have Dark Horse on vinyl, and it's one of my favorite albums.
There you go. Good man.
This one you'll definitely know. Declan, you'll be a fan of this one. Fleetwood Mac.
There you go.
Great choice.
Very good.
Then to get a little bit more kind of obscure-ish, Dallas Smith, country artist.
I know Dallas Smith.
Yeah.
There you go.
Saw him in concert once. It was an amazing concert.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know if anybody knows. I assume one of you guys will at least. Kavinsky. Anything?
Nothing.
What was his big song?
Wasn't he that guy who had played for San Jose and was the trivia answer we couldn't get? We got mad at Declan, keyed his card. He got mad at us. No.
So Kavinsky's big song was Night Call.
Nope.
You listen to it and you know the song.
What's the style of music?
It's electronic.
Oh, okay. Like Kraftwerk? You have no idea what Kraftwerk is.
No, nothing.
All right. Okay. I find that interesting. Back in the old days when you dated a girl, she'd come to your house and look at your records and you'd listen to them, and then you'd go to her house and you'd listen to her records, and it was kind of like that's what you did. It was, and then if you hung out a lot, you'd exchange records, and then you'd break up, and then she'd have the records you wanted, and it would be awkward because you had to go back and get them. I mean, it was a long time ago, and I've forgotten about most of them. I did have a Springsteen bootleg I never got back, which I very much regret.
Yeah, that would be a tragedy. Just to jump back, people are actually supporting me on the hate speech thing was a little too far.
It was, for sure. We'll admonish.
They
Josh.
thought it was really funny. Democracy thought it was funny. Kev thought it was funny.
Well, it's funny, but it's the kind of thing that you don't want to have.
It's the type of thing where if someone tunes in and actively sees that who's never tuned in before, they're going to actively think I'm, someone who needs to be canceled.
I just would say anybody who's listening who feels like, that way towards Donovan, he's not a hate speech person. That's just not him. There are other reasons to be concerned, though, about Donovan as a society, just so you know.
The great text coming from Cat Dad. Donovan just speaks hate enthusiastically.
Which is fair. By the way, my daughter and I were talking about vinyl. She loves vinyl, right? And she was looking up the prices of old records. And I asked her to look up, I bought the Japanese version of Rubber Soul by the Beatles, because the reason that I got the Japanese version, I ordered from Southgate. I think it was AB Sound Southgate. Rubber Soul, the Japanese version, had Nowhere Man on it. And so I asked her to look it up. And if I still had that record today, $900.
Oh.
What did I do with my life? I mean, $900. That's a hell of a meal.
Clearly you screwed it up. That's what
Totally.
you've done with your life.
I think I can't deny it. I mean, it's right there in front of us in black and white. All right, I got to go listen to Dave. And what was that other guy that Connor liked? Spartacus?
That wasn't even remotely close.
Dave and Spartacus.
Kavinsky, was that what it was? Yeah, Kavinsky. And Don Tolliver. Don Tolliver, personally the best out of the three.
Kavinsky was Spartacus's neighbor, so it all comes together.
I thought he was talking about like Joseph Kaczynski. I thought he was misspeaking. The director, Joseph Kaczynski.
Starting to understand why the font isn't your friend. So on the way, Jason Gregor at 1:20. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Elks Nation. For the best green and gold coverage online with articles, podcasts, and more, visit elksnation.ca. CJFL Prairie Conference Finals from earlier this weekend. It was the Huskies over the Calgary Colts 27-6 on Saturday. And then 2 games on Sunday saw the Regina Thunder beating the Edmonton Wildcats big 56-1, and the Hilltops over the Rifles 38-3. MLB action today will get going at 5:07. The Toronto Blue Jays playing host to the Boston Red Sox. Taylor on the mound for that one. Next game up on the dock, we'll see the Mets and the Braves. In the late game, we'll see the Royals and Dodgers. Two-time All-Star Tim Anderson has announced his retirement from professional baseball, while the winless Ottawa Redblacks have released Demario Houston among a series of roster changes, and the Arizona Cardinals retiring Larry Fitzgerald's number 11. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440 Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Not sure what wheels fit your vehicle? Evolve Wheels and Tires gives you honest advice from enthusiasts who know fitment inside and out. Whether it's your truck, SUV, or sports car, they have you covered. Evolve Wheels and Tires, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride, evolve your experience.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus all. T's and C's apply.
Legendary is here with BetMGM Casino. Download now to check out over 4,000 casino games, including exclusive slots like Survivor and hundreds of live dealer games. Unlock Vegas magic and sign up for the BetMGM app. See BetMGM.com for terms. 18 plus, Alberta only. Please play responsibly. Subject to eligibility requirements.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with the Alberta iGaming Corporation. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the lowdown. It's the lowdown on Sports 1440 at 1:02. We're brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. They're overstocked and making room with a massive summer clearance. Plus, employee pricing continues. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. That's wolfgmcbuick.com. On the way this hour, we'll be talking to Jason Gregor at 1:20. We have Declinations, a little Mama MMA coming up at 1:40. With our friend Declan Krueger. Honest Ed says, Lowetide, I have a case upon case of old CDs, and I'm not sure what to do with them. Your guidance, please. Well, what I would do, Honest Ed, is I would find not, through means that are, public and maybe just check around with people a young person who loves the style of music that you enjoyed and have CDs of. And then you could gift them because I don't know how much money you would make if you sold them. I don't even know if there are CD stores that have old CDs, but somebody out there would really value them. And if you gifted the gift of music to a young person, even if you don't know them, or maybe especially if you don't know them, seems to me that would be really cool. And I know everything's on Spotify, but kids today, these young people, they don't like the thing about a record album as a for instance, or a CD, is, you know what you used to do? You used to put the album, the LP, on the turntable, and as you listen to it, you'd read the lyrics, and you'd see the pictures of the band doing stupid stuff in Montreux before the hotel burned down. And you would educate yourself about life. And I think that would be a really nice thing to do. Now, I don't know how you do it, but my sense is that that's a pretty good idea if you wanted to do that. Puck IQ is, I'm hoping that, in fact, I know you do. You pay attention to what they do. They are a brilliant website. I'm on there on the daily. They have a list of players who have completed their fourth season of NCAA hockey and can become free agents on August 15th. And it's not a massive list. And, you know, I'm not going to go through all of the names here because who the bloody blue blazes know if they're on anybody's list of possible signings. But August 15th is another one of those obscure dates in the hockey schedule where players can be procured by NHL teams. And sometimes they turn into something, you know, not all the time and certainly not every time, but it's one more avenue for a team like the Edmonton Oilers who are constantly, you know, shopping the aisles of prospect players, trying to find somebody. They signed one of the Ratties this spring. Maybe they'll end up being something. Don't know. Signed a defenseman out of Czechia who may or may not be something. They re-signed Atro Lepinen, who's a chaos defender from Finland, played in the AHL last year, and man, did he improve defensively. He's quite talented offensively, but he improved as the year went by. So something else to keep in mind. Lowetide, appreciate Donovan's knowledge and quick wit, but his voice on the radio sounds like Gaten Matarazzo from Stranger Things. I don't know the character or the individual.
I don't know if there's someone you sound less like than that kid. You've seen Stranger Things, right? This is Declan, by the way.
I actually haven't.
Oh, okay. I think that was one of the, respectfully, I think that was one of the most off base texts we've ever got in. Have you seen Stranger Things, Lowetide?
No, I've seen Seeing Things.
Have you seen it, Connor? You think he sounds like Dust? Yeah, like the look he just gave and the shake of his head is like that one was crazy.
I've had people say I sound like Frank Saravalli before.
That's closer.
So that one, I don't know.
Actually, you do. You have a kind of a drawly sound like Frank. Yeah, I see that. I don't know this.
I don't see it personally. Yeah. I do listen to Frank.
I don't know
a good amount, but I don't see it.
Aristotle fellow from Seeing Things. I don't know if you sound like him or not, but
you guys got to get on Stranger Things, by the way. As an
I tried it.
I don't think
I tried it. I got like 2 episodes in, and I was just, this is not for me.
I think I have to do exactly what I'm doing. That's what I think. You know, there's some things in life that you experience in real time, and then you forget about it. But then something happens, and then you have to acknowledge that you're aware of this, and then explain to young people what it means. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to deliver a sentence, and then I want you to very closely listen to the reactions on mic or on camera of my 3 young cohorts. On the weekend, Cooter from Dukes of Hazzard died.
What's a cooter?
He was a character on the show. I think he was the mechanic.
Yeah.
Do you know Dukes of Hazzard?
I thought you were trying to mispronounce Paul Cotter.
Okay, that's all I wanted. Because there are some times in life where something happened, and I'm sure my dad must have, had similar experiences where something that you like, it's like in the 70s, people would buy rocks and they were called pet rocks. Did you know that?
I have heard of Pet Rocks. Yes.
Like they did it like it was humorous.
Yes.
It's funny. I've got Pet Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you had a lot of Pet Rocks, didn't you?
No, I didn't have. It was the dumbest. I had Slinkies. That was not dumb.
I for the record, I do know Dukes of Hazzard, and I do. Or sorry, you said Dukes of Hazzard. Did you say?
Yeah, no, I said Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
But you didn't care about Cooter. You just were cared about Daisy Duke.
Yes. Yeah. And I love the car was sick. Obviously, like it's a '69 Charger, I think, right? In Dukes of Hazzard. We'll ignore what is all over the car, but the actual orange Charger itself, sick.
Did you like the? I think it was a Torino on Starsky and Hutch. Do you remember that show?
Yep. Yeah, I like that.
What about the Firebird on the Rockford Files?
That one I don't know of.
Okay. Or the Mustang in Bullet, Steve McQueen movie, going up and down San Francisco streets.
Oh yeah, I mean Bullet's a classic.
Yeah.
I love. This will relate to you probably. My mom was a huge Miami Vice person when she was growing up.
The stylish,
the
man.
show?
Don Johnson and damn.
So my mom has basically made me start watching Miami Vice.
Sure.
So I'm watching that right now. I'm in season 1 of the OG Miami Vice show. And the Ferrari, which is actually not a real Ferrari. It's actually a Corvette that's got a Ferrari body over top of it. Sorry to spoil that for anybody who didn't know.
They couldn't afford a Ferrari for a TV show?
Apparently they couldn't afford a Ferrari. And then Ferrari made them explode it in one episode because they were going to sue them. And then they had to get a new Ferrari. I think it's a Testarossa later in the show. A white Testarossa, but that one I think is legit. So
they didn't have that problem on Green Acres, let me tell you. Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. I like that show. Sally Field and Burt Reynolds. Way more enjoyable than some of those Burt Reynolds movies back in the day.
MTR, or sorry, the reg. DP, I know why you're single. You don't know what a cooter is. There's a lot of Team Dean's not surprised I didn't know who that character was.
Vin says, do any of you guys have a UFO take you'd be willing to share on the show? There was a show in the 70s, Late Night America. I don't remember the name of the show or the guy, but it was all about, guys would call it, I was over on the hill there and I saw this shape in the sky. And that was the whole show. It was about guys who absolutely were convinced they'd seen UFOs, like in New Mexico and stuff like that. And I'm sure they saw something, but I don't know that they were, in the right state of mind to be, reporting to television or radio shows that went national.
Sounds like you don't believe in UFOs. Because if you did, you would just say they saw UFOs.
I love science fiction.
You don't believe in ET?
I was promised a lot of things on the Jetsons that haven't happened. And the Star Trek where they can dissolve in one place and then reappear like somewhere else. I'm very resentful that hasn't happened. Josh would be here right now if that were the case.
This talk of the cars from these old shows has spawned in a bunch of people chiming in with their favorite old TV car.
Oh, okay. What are they saying?
We've got Knight Rider Kit, the Firebird Trans Am. That's come in twice now here in the last 30 seconds. The Mustang and Spencer for Hire.
Okay, that's a good show. I watched that back in the day.
We've got legit a ton of them. We got Kit, we got that Mustang, we got Smokey and the Bandit, we've got obviously people with Dukes of Hazzard, Magnum PI. We've got a lot of people chiming in. Herbie the Love Bug from us.
I'm disappointed though, because all of these folks saying, modes of transportation that were popular when they were younger, and nobody has mentioned Jessica Fletcher's bicycle in Murder, She Wrote, which was iconic. There were 300 people in that town, and all of them apparently committed a murder, and she caught them all while using a bicycle.
Was she actively involved in some chases?
No, there was usually around a restaurant. She'd solve the problem, or maybe in a hotel. Maybe she sometimes would be in Ireland, but I think she flew mostly.
So are you telling us that your favorite vehicle from an old show is the bicycle from Murder, She Wrote?
No, I love the Rockford Files beyond belief. I love James Garner and the Rockford Files. He had this friend, Angel,
Angel Hernandez?
No. Angel, like, you couldn't find a friend more likely to get you arrested than Angel. He was always getting in trouble. And then Rockford would have to bail him out. I love that show. Where he used to do this thing where he'd back up and then turn really quickly. It was I was
a J turn.
Yeah, I was a kid. I didn't know that it was cool or not cool, but I thought it was cool that he did it. And I watched that show. I don't think I missed an episode.
And sorry, what was the car in it?
It was I believe it was a Firebird or a Trans Am, one of the two.
Firebird or the Trans Am. That was very popular back in the day for these show cars.
My brother had one. Man, he could scoot in that puppy. All right, I think we've done enough. And Jason Krueger will be on the way. Jason was on holidays, and then he came back, and he's still here. And we're going to talk to him about the Elks weekend. We're going to talk to him about the any Oilers stuff that he wants to talk about, and maybe a little bit about the Blue Jays. And there are people who believe, smart baseball people, maybe a little delusional, who think the Jays may still have an opportunity to make the playoffs. So we'll talk about that as well. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Mr. Rooter cries like a little tiny baby child.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you've got a package from Mrs. Rooter.
Aw, the card says, "Thank you for our unbreakable bond. You're the pro press fitting to my copper pipe."
Ooh, what's in the package, Mr. Rooter?
Let's see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. She knew I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's flowing or it's free with Mr. Rooter.
I love that woman.
Kickoff is coming August 15th. Elks, Argos, at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Family Day presented by Goodwill Industries of Alberta. Youth 17 and under get in free for an early afternoon contest. Conditions apply. Tickets and info at goelks.com/tickets.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Hey, Alberta. You can now get your health number and Canadian citizenship marker on your driver's license and ID card. No more flimsy paper health cards or multiple IDs to juggle. Just one card, that's it. To get yours, bring your Alberta Health Card, proof of Canadian citizenship, or other eligible documentation to the registry to renew your card. Learn more at alberta.ca/onecard. A message from the Government of Alberta.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Down on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out. WolfGMCBuick.com. It's 1:20 Monday, just starting the week. It's time for our headliner of the day, Jason Krueger, brought to you by Faber. This city knows what a comeback looks like if debt is holding you back. Faber's licensed insolvency trustees can help create your financial comeback. Book your free consultation at faber.ca. All right, Jason, how was your weekend?
Pretty good, Al.
Yep.
Didn't
nice weather
for the most part. Yeah. It's like we can't go 2 days without rain right now.
Telling you.
Wow.
How are I know you're not on the farm anymore.
No.
But how are our friends the farmers doing out there?
Oh, I've talked to a few, man. It's not, well, it depends. Like it seems like we're just in like this little bubble of rain, because I talked to some of my family members up in Grand Prairie, and they don't have the rain like us, and down south doesn't have the rain like us, and other places are dead dry. So it's kind of a weird thing. I guess those people who talked about extreme changes in climate were correct.
Yeah. Well, and you can't have more faith than a farmer does every year by
dude.
Planting those crops and hoping that everything comes out right.
Oh yes, there's lots of things you learn, that there's lots in life that's out of your control, and you can't, if you fret about it, you'll go crazy.
Speaking of out of your control, I don't know how much of the turnovers and settling for field goals is beyond the control of the Elks, but they played well in 3 games, 3 tough teams, 2 Saskatchewan, 1 Montreal. They're 1-2. What's your take on the weekend in regard to the Elks? And then overall, they've had a great year, little stumble here, but these were tough teams.
Yeah, they're 6-3. I think you have to look big picture. Like when they beat Montreal early, because they lost to them yesterday, like I didn't think they were going to sweep Montreal. The first half was very close. Montreal kind of took it to them in the second half. And hey, you know what? I thought Montreal, even the whole game, was the more physical team, which is something Edmonton prides themselves on. I do wonder if fatigue with the heat, like they're in a stretch here where they're playing like 10 consecutive weeks with no bye week, and they've had like long week, short week, long week, short week. That's done. Like they're through the hardest part of their schedule. They're 6-3. No. They don't face Montreal anymore. They don't face BC anymore. They don't face Saskatchewan anymore. They've got Hamilton twice. You got Toronto twice. You got Calgary twice. They'll play Winnipeg twice. And then they got Saskatchewan once, their final game of the year. And that might come down to first place in the West, which would be fantastic. But I think you have to look at things like, my main question coming out of that game was, why is Rankin only touching the ball 7 times? He's rushed for 62 freaking yards. Why aren't getting the ball more? Like, he's a dynamic player. So that would be my one question from it. And that's, if there's been one consistent, I haven't loved the play calling offensively.
And this has been more than a 1 year issue.
Yeah. The play calling at times to me is still not where it needs to be at. Defensively, you know what? The defense has been pretty sound here. You know what? They gave up a few big plays at times. I thought their tackling to me looked probably the first game all year, even on special teams. Like their tackling wasn't great. So I think that's something when we talk to Killam tomorrow that he'll probably want to address.
And you mentioned about the short weeks and the weeks in a row, and we talked about it when they had an early bye about how important that would be, like in the middle of the year. But is it also a matter of maybe Montreal having a little more depth? Like they just seem to have,
well, I don't know if it's depth. I think they're top end guys. Like they've got 2 dominant receivers, a dominant like their quarterback's better, right? I don't know if their running back's better, but let's saw it off. He's pretty good. And then their top 2 receivers combined are better than the top 2 receivers at Edmonton. So I think their top end guys are better. Their defense played well. I thought Edmonton's receivers dropped a few too many balls that were right in their hands that I didn't love. So it was just a game where, you're not going to win every game. I look at Edmonton and said, okay, if you would have said at the halfway point of the season, they'd be 6-3 after being a terrible team for the last, like most people at the start of the year said, hey, if the Elks could be 9-9, that'd be a good year.
Yeah,
so, they're 6-3. And when you look at their schedule now, the key is they got to take advantage of it. I think the Toronto game is a very important game coming up on Saturday. And now way too early to look at the weather because we know it can change in Alberta very quickly, but the weather looks good.
Yep.
It's a 1:00 start. Chad Kelly, the one thing he can do is he can pass the ball a lot. He can also pass it to you a lot. He throws a lot of interceptions. We saw that they won. Like, how many games do you win when you throw 4 picks? Not very many, but they did. So it will be a game where I think Edmonton's going to have to be aware. Toronto goes after it.
Yeah.
Right. They don't sit back. They pass the ball way more than they run the ball. So you're going to have to pressure him. And offensively, they're going to have to score, which they've done for the most part. Right. So it was, 48 points to me, I think it was an outlier for the defense to give up, but it'll be a good reminder that they got to be better.
Yeah. We're getting towards the Labor Day back, front and back.
It's funny how it's way later in the year now.
Yeah. You're right. It is. It does seem like it's
schedule wise. Usually it's like 9 games.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're playing Labor Day.
Yeah.
Right. 8 or 9 game, 9 or 10. And now it's, the Elks, we still got 3 weeks away till the Labor Day.
And it's going to be a later season game, right?
Yeah.
Well past the halfway point.
Yeah.
But for me, this schedule against Saskatchewan Montreal was something to overcome. But I've always looked forward to the Labor Day and then the game back here because I think it is, that's something that a lot of fans tune in every year, no matter how good or bad they are. And there's a real opportunity, I think, to put the boots to Calgary if it should happen. That I think, lots of people recognize the Elks are much improved, but there are some who are still like, yeah, maybe I'll go. I think that'll be a great opportunity maybe to author what will be the talk of the town.
Well, they got 3 of their next 4 games are at home. So they're at home this Saturday, then they're home the following Friday, then they have a bye week, then they're in Calgary, then they're home for a Saturday. So, their schedule is definitely a lot better when it comes to just rest in between games. They get a bye week, so they'll play 2 games, they have a bye, then they play 4, then they have a bye, then they play their final 3 games. I think it is. So the schedule comes out there, not to even mention opponents. So, lots of positives here for the Elks. I think from where they're at right now, I know that game was not a great end to the first half of the season.
Right.
But you also, Montreal's a pretty good team.
Oh, yeah.
So, they're Montreal. I picked Edmonton to lose the game. I'm not surprised. I thought Montreal at home. Montreal wanted to come back and beat them because Edmonton beat them here. So, you know what? It's a good benchmark to say if we want to beat them, where are the areas of our game? And they're going to have to. They pride themselves on being physical, and I thought they got out physical in that game.
Yeah, I think they're the 3rd best team in the league. Do you agree?
I think it's a coin toss with Saskatchewan. Like each team won by 2 points.
Okay.
Right. I honestly think it's a coin toss, and don't count out BC. Nathan Rourke gets healthy.
Looks good, yeah.
BC's pretty good, but I think those. Winnipeg. We'll see if Caleros comes back. What they have left. Calgary and Toronto are exciting teams, but I just don't know if they've got that wow factor to do it for one game. That's the thing. Chad Kelly, 1 game. Toronto could upset you for sure. But I think Edmonton, Saskatchewan are kind of like a 2A, 2B right now. They're both pretty close, but Montreal's clearly the best team right now.
I was, the Rough Riders had that pretty easy game against Ottawa, even though they're banged up. And I thought Edmonton played well. They didn't win the game, but the first half was pretty good. I'm really looking forward to, I'm assuming Saskatchewan and Edmonton make the Western final, and that's going to be
lots can happen now. But I like it. Well, hey, you know what? That final game of the regular season could come down to it.
Yeah, really, eh?
And it's just for fans of the green and gold and people who cover the team, I'll tell you right now, I've done it many times. It doesn't impact my enjoyment of life. But it's a slog when you cover a team that stinks, right? Like the season's over before it begins sometimes. You knew, hey, this team's bad. They're not going to be good, right? And we had that for, a long time for the Oilers and, fairly long time here now for Edmonton, the Elks. So it's good to see that they're competitive.
Yeah.
They're a good team. They could go in and you say, hey, if Edmonton wins, you'd never be shocked.
No.
Right? And sometimes now you'd be more surprised that they lost against certain teams.
Yes.
And it's been a long time since you could say that.
That's for sure. Changing gears a little bit, Jason Gregor joining us. I'll be on the radio at 2:00 with the Jason Gregor Show. Jays are they're close in a lot of games. Bats are not coming through. Vladdy hit a home run. I got buddies who say, hey, look, they could still make the playoffs. I think they're done. Where do you stand?
Well, their odds aren't in their favor, right? What are they, 3.5 back or 3 back? I can't remember what the number is.
5 teams to
right. They got a lot of teams to but you're taking Boston now, right? You got to win another series. You don't have to sweep would be ideal, but just keep winning series, Al. If you can go 2-1 and 2-1 and keep going 2-1 and keep going 2-1, well, then you have a chance. That Philly series is wild, right?
Yes.
You're going to extras, it seems, all the time. The Jays, Lucas has a 2-run shot to win it. Then what a performance he had. Comes off the bench, gets a single, keeps the rally going. They score 3 runs in the 8th. Then he guns out a guy from right field to keep the game going in the 11th. And you know what? At times they still, I don't love their small ball play. Kind of annoys me. I'm like, you got a guy on third base, right? Just figure it out, get the run in. So overall, though, they like when Vladdy hit that home run after 3 days off, the swing, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But then then they go back to yesterday's game. Did you see that little dribbler hopper into a double play in extra innings? I'm like, yeah, that's what we've seen way more from Vladdy Guerrero this year. Like one home run doesn't change what the majority of his season is, which is sadly dribblers, ground balls. Like he hits the ball into the ground better than anyone right now.
Well, and it's funny because Fernando Tatis had the same problem in San Diego, and he opened up his stance a little bit. He was very closed compared to previous. Somebody told him to do it. Now he's opened it up a little bit, and I think he's up to 7 or 8 home runs. Not going to hit 20.
No, but he's bombed it. And these are all since the All-Star break. He hadn't hit anything.
No, exactly. So maybe there's a stance or something he could do.
Vladdy's, I think he has to be open to change.
Yeah.
And I've heard that he can be a little stubborn at times. And I'm like, dude, like, You're getting paid a boatload of money here. You can't just be like, well, it'll come around. It's not coming around. Now, are injuries playing a factor? Maybe, but I'm not sure why the injury would force you to have to swing so you're pounding the ball into the ground as often as he has.
He has the same elevation on the ball as Junior Caminero, and he's got 35 home runs. So there's something wrong. I think it's his stance or something like that. And his dad had terrible mechanics all over the place. He'd hit a home run off his shoes.
Yeah, well, he's very different because Vladdy's very patient at the plate, right?
Yes.
Like he'll take a lot of walks. He's got a really good eye. And so he's very different in his dad in that regard. I think he's much more patient, right? I think he doesn't swing like Vlad Sr. would hit opposite field home runs on a pitch that was 1.5 feet outside. Sometimes you're like, he hit a home run, so you can't really complain about it. But yeah, he did. I don't think he had the patience of his son at the plate. So very two different approaches at the plate. And you can tell he's frustrated. You see it in his body language. It's obvious here. Like he's better than he's playing, but he is who he is right now. And this is who he is. And so, he's got to figure out something. Because if he could ever wake up and not just one home run, like wake up and be
6 in a week,
hit doubles and hit the ball hard consistently rather than hit it hard, on ground balls. Because that's not really what his game is.
And they need 10 wins in a row, so he might want to get on that. Yeah.
Well, if they could win 2 out of every 3, keep winning series like they have been, they would be in the race come September.
Yeah, it's they're still worth watching, but it's frustrating because the talent's there. It's just not coming through.
Like they do need to, they got to win 2 out of 3 against Boston, right? Game again. And then, you game 1 game against them, whoever knows what the other teams do. And then you just slowly try to, pass one team at a time.
Anything, any morsel, somebody tee off on a course, any Oilers news, or it's still just crickets?
No, there's not going to be any news. Like Oilers fans, relax. Your roster, this is your roster to start the season. And now, it's not your roster come March 1st, right? There's going to be some changes leading up to the trade deadline, but this is who the roster. And I don't see any reason why you'd what do you want? Vladdy Tarasenko? Seriously, that's the guy you're going to spend your cap space on?
Well, yeah, and what you're going to do is he's going to get the at bats that Ike Howard would.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So you have 15 forwards who played in the NHL, played 20 games last year. 15.
Yeah.
Then you got 8, 9 defensemen. So
3 goalies.
3 goalies. So you've got more than enough. You've got 2 superstar forwards. You got an elite defenseman. You know what? You've got some good secondary players. So I think that they will. They'll be fun. Like I say, Al, the Oilers, if they're not in first place in their division leading up to the deadline, to me, it'll be a disappointment for them.
Yeah.
And it'll mean that they did not play up to their capabilities because in the regular season, they are good enough to win their division finally.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. Now, Mike Babcock, he hasn't coached in a while. And this is a team that, he probably has watched them on television, but he's not familiar with them as individuals. And, he's got to find the chemistry that's going to work. How much time? It's a very short training camp and it's a very short preseason. How much time is it going to be able to give to guys who are, you mentioned the 15 and the 9 and the 3, anybody outside like a Quinn Hudson? I don't think he's going to get much time at all. He's going to play, but maybe not be evaluated as a player who's going to make the team.
Well, and I think, and that's probably fair because I saw Quinn Hudson last year. Like his second recalls, and if you look at his second half in the AHL, that's kind of the player. He's a tweener at this point. Right now, he's going to have to get a little bit stronger. So and the great part about him is he's a young player, and like there's training. The guys train for the Dub, and they train for NCAA, and they legitimately think they're training their hardest.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with it because you don't know what you don't know.
Right,
and then all of a sudden you get to the NHL camp and you talk to some NHL players and you work out and you're, oh, geez, I am not working out to what the NHL standard is. So now I would assume he'll have had a summer of training like an NHL player. Right. Same with Ike Howard. And if they do it, that's going to increase their chances. But there's not enough space. Like I look at it realistically, like you're not going to have Hudson, Howard, and Savoy on the roster. Like, what are we talking about? Like it's no chance. So, you know what? Hudson probably is a guy who goes to the minors. And you know what? Now, maybe he comes in and blows the doors off and maybe he beats out some people here. Great. Because some of those guys, I think they would not be worried about exposing to waivers if they had to. But I'm not keeping a young guy and exposing a veteran just for the sake of having the young guy for a week and 2 weeks and then send him down.
Absolutely
right. So I don't like when I look at it realistically, he's not a fourth line player.
No.
So I look at their top 9 and like what's Trent Frederick going to be this year? Like Trent Frederick for years was a top 9 player. Yes. Now maybe he can't be again. I don't know. And if he can't be, then the contract looks awful. Yeah. But if he comes back and thinks he's a top 9 player, well, now they've already, I'm not including Hudson, they've already got 11 top 9 players. Yeah. So that's a good problem to have.
Yeah. And we don't know, I know that Janmark had,
he's had shoulder issues for 2 years.
Right. So, and his goal scoring is gone. It's just gone. So that's a player who
in the regular season now.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, he scores.
Oh, on the penalty kill. So I look at him and I'm like, maybe that's a guy that we'll see in training camp, but maybe he ends up on IR or.
Yeah. Well, it depends how he heals. Like I asked Bowman this, and because Janmark had surgery way earlier, right? No. There's no player had surgery since the end of the regular season. And his shoulder surgery for Janmark was done, I think, in March and fully expected to be ready to go. Now, maybe there's some complications. So we'll see. That's a fair point for you. But the thing about Janmark is, Al, and I wrote the article last week about, the allocation of minutes and how Babcock uses his guys. And guess his fourth line did not produce very much at all.
No.
And they still won. So I think at times, sometimes, like offense again isn't the problem. Matthias Janmark, what's his biggest strength? He doesn't get scored on.
Right.
He does not make mistakes. Even when he can't score into the ocean, he rarely makes bad. And I'm telling you, for a Mike Babcock team, I'll be stunned if Janmark isn't in the lineup as a fourth line penalty killing winger.
That's fair. Yeah. And Joseph is somewhat similar, and we'll see where he lands. What's coming up on the show?
You know what? Great question. No, I'm kidding. Well, obviously, Woodley will be by. We'll talk a little bit the green and gold, and we have a fun little summer topic to dive into today on the show. So it should be good. But there's lots to discuss. Like it's funny. It's people always like, oh, there's downtime, but every time you think there's downtime, and then it's like, hey, the PGA playoffs. Who didn't make the cut, and so yeah, we'll kind of have a smorgasbord of sports.
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on. Thank you, appreciate it.
I'll have a good one.
All right, stay out of trouble. Jason Gregor will be live on the radio in 22 minutes-ish, depending upon my ability to exit stage left on time. Jason Gregor coming up. We're going to talk about all the texts that Donovan has inspired through various verbal on the show. And declinations will appear. We're talking Mama MMA. All right, Jason. Declan straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Everything is going to be okay. If you're feeling the weight of too much debt, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or a consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal will eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we've got your back.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Make every game an away win with Trax Coach Lines. Trax Coach Lines has you covered with safe, comfortable, reliable team transportation when your performance matters most. With flexible pricing, customized experiences, and safe travel, they ensure your team arrives ready to perform. Enjoy their luxury climate-controlled motor coaches, professional drivers, and 24/7 support. Travel anywhere, anytime. Visit TraxCoachlines.com for a quote today. Find out why professional teams trust Trax Coach Lines, your MVP for team transportation.
Harley-Davidson of Edmonton is turning up the heat for their annual garage sale and swap meet. Catch the Twin West Crew Stunt Team live for 2 massive shows packed with smoke and fire. Plus, score huge deals on parts, gear, and clothing. Check out artisan vendors, local riding groups, and grab a bite at the food trucks. August 15th, 10 to 3 at Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail. Locally owned and operated since 1980. Find more at hdedmonton.com.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. 143. And now, the man who says Declan here, by the way, at least 5 times an hour. We appreciate him, and we like him a whole lot. Declinations brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Kick off the second half of the season with a 5-game ticket pack and get $25 voucher. Get your half-season pass today at goelks.com/tickets. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year. Ladies and gentlemen, Declan Krueger.
So it's Declan here. Don't have
Still out of frame.
Don't have
Not even half in the frame.
Well, come on. I like to sit where I like to sit. I don't have the most ammo for this one today. Quillan Salkeld and an Australian kid. He got the win over Mateusz Gamrot this past weekend to shoot himself to consent tender status in the lightweight division. The event that's going to be coming up this weekend is the welterweight world championship with Islam Makhachev and Ian Gary. And we also have Mackenzie Dern defending her strawweight title on that card. But my thing with the past, like I've talked about this, UFC, I think like this main event, it's becoming a little more boxing-esque, which is something the UFC always prided itself on not being. Like they always really prided themselves on loading their pay-per-view cards and not just having it be main event dependent. And it kind of is. And this past weekend, like, I don't know, Lowetide, we've done this segment for 3 years. Like how many times have you sat here and listened to me talk about how the quality of the cards when you have to put one on every week is just subpar. You've mentioned that, and like that's what we saw again this past weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty deep on MMA Twitter, and there's kind of a growing discourse that people are falling out of love with it a little bit.
Is it a matter of you don't have like you got any sport needs fuel, and those fuels are young unknowns making a name for themselves?
Well, I don't know. I think that's a problem in the UFC because I think you have a lot of fighters who are kind of pitched that way, but aren't really UFC caliber who come on for their, 3-fight, 4-fight contract, making 10 and 10, and it just doesn't pan out, and they're off the roster pretty quickly, and there's no investment in them, and then it's just kind of a rinse and repeat. It's been that way for a couple of years. It feels like now, like MMA pay-per-views, UFC pay-per-views used to be like such an event. Like they would stack, because it's like I just said, like they would stack the card like 1 through 5. It was great. And boxing was always very main event dependent, right? Like boxing was just, you don't really like, could you tell me who was on the Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao undercard?
No,
or
it's always been like that.
Right, exactly. And UFC was never like that, which was something that was really cool and made it an event. But they've shifted a little bit more towards that at times. Like sometimes they'll still load a card. I don't know. I guess the grander point is when you're putting out a card like that every week, and the product seems to be weekend after weekend, year after year, getting a little more diluted in quality. It's going to wear on people. It's going to wear on the fans.
Is it a matter of they're running out of people to wreck themselves? Because this is a pretty, violent sport.
Well, they don't really have any new superstars. That's a big one. They don't they obviously, when Conor McGregor became Conor McGregor, they really hit the lottery with that one because he was so one of one. And it just happens. Like some people have that star making quality, right? Like Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao were like that. Like even when Oscar and Manny lost, their next pay-per-view would still command a million people. Ronda Rousey for a really brief period was like that. Mike Tyson was like that. They haven't found anyone like that since Conor. And granted, it's not something you can force. It's something that's a little bit more natural and just happens. But I think that's definitely hurt them a little bit. But then just the number of cards week in, week out. And I think the lack of quality is just something that has kind of caught up with people a little bit. And like, in the golden age of MMA, whatever you want to say the golden age was, because I think it's gone through a few different iterations. But, when the cards weren't every weekend, it would be, even a fight night would really be event viewing because you had, for the most part, some really good fighters on it, top to bottom. And you just don't see that anymore.
Well, and when I was a big boxing fan, it was weekly appointment viewing on HBO for me. Like I planned my weekend around it. And like I loved it. Like I loved the play-by-play. I loved the color. They would explain the fighters, and the fighters were important, and I did follow them. But really, it was the general atmosphere and the fact that it was good boxing. It was good boxing. Not every match, but good boxing.
Yeah, I don't know. It almost seems like now for the UFC, like it's just I've said like they know the fans are gonna watch, so it's like here's what we're giving you. Tune in.
How do you procure new talent for that?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you need a smaller roster with yes, of course you need prospects and you need guys who can come in and prove something, but you need a smaller roster. You need less of these guys on these 10 and 10s who are going to be out there after 4 weeks or 4 fights, I should say. But then you just need less events. Like you can't have an event every weekend because this is the product you get. You got to space it out a little bit more. Right. And they're handcuffed by their TV deal, right? Like they have to do this.
Trailer Park Ryan says, "Hey, Jacqueline."
Yeah, we've had this before. It's a voice to text thing.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to ask his question.
Okay, yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Whenever much fewer do you have as seat cards, and it was more of something you looked forward to every couple of months. I used to be invested. It's so watered down now that I've completely lost interest. And if that's happening, then it should be panic mode.
I completely agree. And Lowetide, you know my favorite game I like to play. Like, how many fighters this past weekend had a Wikipedia page? Like, it was 7 fighters on a, 13 fight card? Like 7 out of a possible 26 were given a Wikipedia page. Like,
can I make a weird comparison for a second?
Yeah, please.
So, are you a Star Wars guy, Deck?
I like the original trilogy and prequel trilogy. I never got into the Disney revive as
Okay,
much.
so since Disney bought Lucasfilm and Star Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've been pumping out all these like Star Wars TV shows and all these Star Wars properties that just don't feel the same anymore. They feel watered down, and it feels less special because of how often these things are coming out and because of how lackluster they are. Does the UFC just not feel the same?
Yeah, for like 100%.
Like, it just,
it's a great comparison.
it doesn't feel special.
No, I couldn't agree more. And I'm kind of one of the sickos for it, right? Like, I really love this sport. Like, I love the intricacies of seeing like a really good grappling match. I love seeing how, like a Muay Thai traditionalist can translate into MMA. Like, I really appreciate the sport. But even for someone like me, like, it's still a lot. And so I couldn't imagine how a casual fan feels about it.
I can't do it as a casual.
Right? Yeah,
I can't do it.
There you go.
Star Wars came out in 77. I saw it on Jasper Avenue.
Yes.
And it
What,
was
a date or with friends?
Oh, no, it was I went alone.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'm there. I've been there. I love
town. I was working. I had money, and I went down there, and I think it was a matinee, early evening or matinee. But that was 77. You had to wait till 80 for the next one, and believe me, it was anticipated. Like, Star Wars, the movie, was the biggest movie hit of my youth.
Right? Like, and it felt special. It was an event.
You had to go.
Right?
I went like 5 times.
And then when you make something so often, and there's so many versions that are just so underwhelming, it doesn't feel like an event anymore. It doesn't feel special. That's what Disney's done to Star Wars. And I feel like the UFC, when you have so many mediocre or just bad fighters, it's like there's no event to it. There's no special meaning. There's no gravitas. It's just
gravitas.
Yes.
Well, there is a word.
I agree. And like I made the point, and Donovan touched on it as well, like it not being special. How do casual fans get involved? And then for me, someone who views themselves as like a pretty hardcore fan, like, I feel cheated, because the UFC is just saying, hey, we're going to put this out and we know you're going to watch it. And I'm like, well, like, we couldn't even try a little bit for the people who really care about the sport. You know what I mean? So
and it does happen. Like, when the WHA rated the NHL in 72, by 75, I had sort of lost interest in hockey because it was not good. Like, the 75-76 NHL season was a low ebb. Trust me on that. Claire Alexander was the Aurelio milkman, and he actually was that. He played OHA Junior B and OHA Senior, and then he made the Maple Leafs because all their defensemen were picked up by the New England Whalers. It was not great hockey compared to the NHL hockey that, from a decade previous. And so that can happen. The struggle to survive, though, will be big if they can't fix this.
Absolutely. Very, very well said.
Man. This is I do find, like, I don't know Jack Doodley about UFC, not really. I love boxing, but I have to say that you have informed me over these years, and I'm glad for it. I appreciate you being so diligent and obsessed with that sport.
Well, I appreciate it. And I love boxing too. You know that.
Let's all hug.
You guys want to hug?
Let's sing Kumbaya. No, Donovan, I can tell Donovan doesn't want to.
No, I'm disgusted with the thought of hugging you. Kumbaya, I can stomach, but the thought of hugging you is just disgusting to me.
I know that people might be listening and thinking, oh, they're not that way. They're much closer off the air. No. No, this is it. One of them has probably keyed my car in these 2 hours. But I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate you. Going to be a fun day tomorrow as well. Jason Gregor straight ahead with a very interesting guest. Enjoy your day.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. For your next move in the Edmonton or area, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. CJFL results from this past weekend in the Prairie Conference. On Saturday, it was the Edmonton Huskies over the Calgary Colts 27-6. And then on Sunday, we saw two games. The Regina Thunder beating up on the Wildcats 56-1, while it was the Hilltops over the Rifles 38-13. Scores from around the MLB as the league will get going at 5:07. Jays and Red Sox with the first game of the day. First pitch at 5:07. Talon on the mound for the Jays, and you'll be able to hear that one here on Sports 1440 AM dial only at the conclusion of the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere in the MLB world, two-time All-Star Tim Anderson has announced his retirement, while the winless Ottawa Redblacks and CFL News have released veteran defensive back Mario Houston among a series of roster changes, and the Arizona Cardinals will be retiring Hall of Fame wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald, number 11. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West